What we're all here for is this. This is what it looks like when your trigger, this is the L2. When the trigger's fine, you see that here. And then when you have a busted trigger, see the difference? That particular end lost its little peg. So, the one thing everybody keeps screwing up is the spring and basically putting this trigger back. So what I'm going to do is at this angle, I'm going to take off I'm going to take the new replacement ones out of this tiny itty bitty bag. These are replacement triggers, and I'm going to replace them. Alright. Okay, so in here you should get your 2 springs and your 2 triggers. First off, these are look at that. They are exact. Yep, these are exact. But the one we all care about is the right one. Whoops. Fell off the table. Just a second, guys. Okay, so only thing I really care about is the right one. And as you can see, it's just about the same. It's perfectly fine. Alright, so this is the one we're going to replace. We're going to leave the other one on there, and I'm going to keep this inside. Oops. Looks like... Okay, great. This is perfect. So what I'm going to do, first things first, this is the right one. We're going to take this out because, as you can see, I tried to glue it back. It doesn't work. Don't listen to the guy that tells you, hey, you know what, this will work, you just got to put the damn thing back in. Because if you're playing shooting games, any slight movement is going to trigger it, and then you actually have to use one of your other fingers, so probably your pointer finger, to hold this back, so it doesn't press on itself. Okay? So we're going to take that off, put that to the side. So here's the thing. First, I'm going to show you how to put the spring on. It'll probably be legendary because this is as close as you're going to get to an example of how to do it. Okay, so if you take a look at this, let me see if I can get a toothpick or something. Chopsticks work. Alright, so if we take a look at this, this is the contact pad, right? Okay, make sure we get all that. Okay, this is the little pad. This button right here is what's responsible for L1 and, well, for this action right here is what's responsible for pressing in the buttons. Couple things you want to watch out for. Okay, when right here, this little silicone pad, a lot of times, if you first opened it, you may see it like this. If you don't get this little lip, like that, right? If you don't get this lip over this little piece of plastic, this button is not going to work. You will literally put the whole damn thing back, and because that lip isn't right, it's not going to work. So something as simple as just putting it over the plastic is a lifesaver. Alright? That's exactly how I actually got the functionality of my L2 back. I just didn't realize it. Okay. Spring. If you take a look at this, there's a specific groove that this spring goes in. You see how this is like one of the contact points for the spring, and it kind of wraps around and goes down. So if you look at this spring here, put this back, this spring is equal on both sides. So that means you could put this any freaking way, it doesn't matter. But here's the thing, the spring goes in like this. Oops. Let me see if I can get my needle nose here. Don't worry about it, it's not needed. Okay, so let me get the R2 trigger and I'll show you exactly how to do this. Stop talking. Alright, R2. So first things first, if you're putting this back, it has to be put back this way to match R1, R2. So, and we know that this groove for the spring is on this side. So what we're going to do is we have to put this in the trigger a specific way. And I'm going to show you how I hold it with 2 fingers to be able to get this going. First things first. So we know it's going on this side. Let's see. You see that? those two little lines right there, two lines right there, that little groove right there, that's where the spring is going to catch. The spring has to catch onto the trigger to be able to put it in, and so it'll work. So let me grab this again, and I'm going to put this in here. Okay, so you just want to get it, so you put it over, and you put it in there. Now, here's the cool part. It's in there already, right? The little piece that I have, if you can see it, I'm holding it with my thumb, the other piece. So this is how easy it is. You slide it into that little groove right there. Right? So you hold this little piece with the thumb. It's not going anywhere. Right? You just keep holding it right there, and you turn it back around. And you get your finger here, and you turn it back around. And then you come up top, and you hold it like that. And you're practically pinching the trigger. R2, like that. So, as you can see, the spring's here, the groove is right there. First thing you do is you just let it go. Just like that. And it goes right in there. And the only thing you got to worry about is now that you don't have to hold the spring down, you just got to worry about getting the trigger in there. And that's it. You're done. Just like that. You know, you move it over. You move it over. You know, make sure it caught and it's in. And you're good to go, man. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. That's all. No one needed no crazy explanation. There's no need to screw anybody over with some fucking lines or some stupid, 15-minute explanation on how the fucking trigger works. That's how you put it in. I'm going to take it off. I'm going to show you again. Okay? When you take it off, you got to be very careful because there's two hooks right here. You take it off. You want to lift it up. Right? So here's the cool part. Remember? The inside of the spring is caught inside the trigger right there. See? Inside the trigger. So if you take it off, you already lifted one side out. You lift the other side out. Now the only thing that's holding the trigger is the spring there, right? This is how you take it off to get it so that you still have it. You put your finger right underneath it and you lift it up so it's going to come out like this. Like this. Okay? So now you always keep tension on the spring with one finger. Like that. Okay? So you keep it on the groove. And you make sure the hard part really, and there's no real hard part to this, is just making sure that the other side of the spring is caught right there. So again, we're going to put this to the side here. This is your trigger. Okay? And that's your little groove right there. So take your R2. Now, another thing. See how this is? So normally, you turn the controller over, and this is the right trigger, it'll go like that. So, normally, you'd have it upside down, because this is the best way to do it. Alright, I'll show you again. Me got big fingers, and this is very tiny. Okay, so one more time at the mechanism before we go any further. Alright, two little clips. Oh, just pray to God you don't break these. But two clips, right? Normally, without the spring, it would just go right in. Just like that. Just push it down, and it clips in. Now the problem is right here. Right there. That little bit of wiggle, because that spring's not in there. That fucks you up so bad. Especially when you're playing a game. So, alright, no twisting. You just pull them straight out, one at a time. Alright, so I have the spring again. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm only going to get it so I can use it. End result is I'm going to be using this finger and this finger to hold the whole damn thing with the spring. First thing, again, this is the position I have it in, right? First thing is you get this little piece of the spring inside that spot right there, that little catch, okay? So you put it through the loop, you let it go down, and then you hold it like that. Now it's in there. It's not going anywhere. Then you take your finger, and you, like I said, you only want to pinch it, so you're just holding it in place. In the same exact way you put it in before, you put it in again. in that little section right there. So you push this in on one end. You can even let it go at this point because, you know, you're guiding it in there. It's already in there. And be careful. Boom. You're done. Just like that. Good to go. The hardest part is just getting it in the trigger. After you get it in the trigger, you put it in the groove, and you're done. Now, to show you how to put this back together, from as far as I did it, I may need to actually, let me see something real quick. Because if I remember, let me get that other piece here. Where's that reset button supposed to be? Ah, okay. So the reset button goes right there, in that gold contact right there. So let me get this. Again, this is also very simple, because when you take a look at this, you see the groove, the two grooves right there. So you stick this in here. Oh, I guess it's the other way around. Makes more sense. Alright, so it goes where that... Oh, it actually says reset. How fucking stupid is that? It says reset right there. I didn't even notice. Alright. So anyway, this groove has two notches, left and right. And that opening has two notches, left and right. So you just push it in this way. You gotta be careful when you first take it apart. Yeah, that's how you know you got it in right. So if you, they did it a wide surface so that if you stick a pen in there, it doesn't break anything. That's your reset button. Alright, so a couple things. It's very important. Even if you take this little thing out right here, it's very important. One, this is your ribbon cable. Okay? The battery goes in here. So we're done with the battery, so I'm just going to put it back. Where did I put the... Oh, there we go. Okay. So, again, this is another thing before we get to that. Right here, how you know you're putting this in correctly? You see that middle slot? See how there's a slot right there for the battery? On the other side, it doesn't look like that. There's a slot right here. So you put it in, and you make sure that little... See if I can get this to angle more. Make sure that that little slot right there goes in. That's how you know it's in. You got to be very careful. Don't hold it by the wire. Hold it by the frame of the battery. And you put it in this way. And you're done. Okay? See, everything's designed. It's neat. It's sitting there. So, again, it was this side. Alright. So this little blue tab here. Little blue tab here, right? You can leave that alone. This little blue tab here goes in here. And it goes in here this way. Okay? You have to worry... Two things you don't have to worry about is... Oops, wait a second. Aha, so it's actually this side. I know, because I was actually playing with this tab. Alright, so two things. When you have this ribbon cable, this blue tab is made so that you can push it. So, because this is actually a lot harder than the cable itself to guide it in there. Okay? So, if you're looking at it from afar, the battery's in there, everything's cool. You take, we're going to put it this way so I can show you. And you make sure the blue tab is away from the battery. This is away. This would be towards, this is away. Alright? So, you put the blue tab in here. Whoops. You be careful. Take your time. And you see how it automatically, like, curves? So you put it in here. And when you get it in there, you push it in. Alright, cool.